Why hello there, my name is Arkthepenguin, and as a self-respecting video game player whose Xbox 360 collection begins with Disney Infinity 2.0 and ends with The Godfather of the Game, I'm not really a part of any video game communities other than the video game community. However, I was a part of many individual video game communities and have been involved with even more. And the best part is, after leaving those video game communities, my insurance pays for my therapy! My relationship with video game communities started all the way back in 2013 when I was introduced to MineTube. That's right, my first video game community was Block. Minecraft may not be my favorite video game right now, but it brought me so much joy as a kid. Just playing alone was a blast, so imagine how happy I was when I got Xbox Live Gold. Not Xbox Live, because you can't talk to people on Xbox Live. They're two different things and always will be! My experience with the Minecraft community was mostly positive. Met nice kids, built an elephant. This game allowed my creativity to flourish, and hopefully you notice those two quotation marks there, because my idea of creativity at the time was to build something someone else built and take credit for it. I didn't only do this, I definitely built my own garbage creations, but I definitely had no idea who I wanted to be, unlike every other 9-year-old. I'm willing to bet that I have at least 1,000 hours in Minecraft, and that's just counting the Xbox 360 version. In terms of the actual community, it consisted of children below the age of 13. Need I say more? However, since this was the Minecraft community, I grew out of it at about 11. I had my fun with it and still have some fantastic memories from it, and I still even play it some to this day. But it was obvious I was outgrowing it. The next community I was a part of was the shooter community. How times have changed. Okay, shooters are far from bad. There are definitely some that I love, like Doom, Halo, Splatoon, and Metroid Prime, but there are also some that I'm not too keen on. Titanfall, Call of Duty, PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds, Call of Duty Warzone, literally every Tom Clancy game ever made, Fortnite, Apex Legends, Destiny, Gears of War, and Battlefield are just some of the shooters that I've had mixed to negative receptions on. But back then, I was crazy into it, specifically Halo and Fortnite. Don't blame me, I was young, dumb, and insecure. My blood was basically Axe deodorant. Okay, that's mostly a joke. Even though I'm not into it anymore at all, Fortnite is still way better than people give it credit for, and I believe the only reason it gets so much hate is because it's popular. Even though I did have fun with it, I mainly played it because all my friends were playing it. Since I was about 10 or 11 at the time, I couldn't really hang out with friends without asking my parents first. Not to mention, I was super into Nerf guns at the time. In fact, I still have my collection of 120 guns, which I'm about to sell on eBay pretty soon. Other than all of that, the game was meh. It definitely has some fun moments in it, far more than people are willing to give it credit for. But for me personally, it just gets way too repetitive. But Dallas, by that dumb logic, all games suck because all games are repetitive. I never understood the counter-criticism defending Battle Royales. All games are repetitive. Zelda blows because all you do is solve puzzles and walk. Yes, all games can get repetitive, but games like Fortnite were kind of made with repetitivity in mind. But that doesn't mean Fortnite is a bad game. It's just far from my thing. And of course Halo, which I still really like today, was a series that I was madly in love with. And I still do enjoy it, but nowhere near as much as I did when I was a kid, because I loved it. At one point, I considered Halo 4 to be my favorite game of all time. And while I still really like it, it's probably no longer even in my top 30. To this day, though, while it's rare, there are still some shooters that I enjoy. The shooter community, however, I did not enjoy at all. I'm not saying that anyone in the shooter community is any one of these things that I'm about to call the shooter community, and I'm not saying that everyone in this community falls under these categories. But this community is not good at all. In my experience, the shooter community was so unaccepting of differing opinions, and anytime one person would disagree with another person, they would get personal, and even when I disagreed with someone, they would actually dig deep into information that I trusted them with. I'm not saying that you shouldn't be in the shooter community, I'm just saying be careful. After I started to get really bored with shooters, i.e. after like a week, I moved on to a community that I still love being around to this day, and in some ways am still a part of it. The Pokemon community is such a delight, because unlike every other community, most people in this community actually respect different opinions. Of course, there are some who've definitely had different experiences than me, but my experience was almost entirely positive. For once, I didn't get anxious whenever people would disagree. In fact, I actually enjoyed it. Instead of putting the opposite person's thing down, they would ask why they liked it and even joined in complimenting it too. It was pure bliss, and to this day, I have yet to find a better game franchise community. In terms of the games themselves, I mean, what else is there to say? Pokemon might just be my
favorite video game franchise of all time. It undoubtedly has the best characters of any video game franchise for me personally. I adore Pokemon, and its community is easily the best I have ever been a part of. But one day, a 12-year-old edgy Dallas Watson said, you know what? No, I'm going to replace this with the quickest possible way to get depressed. I'm not even going to try to sugarcoat this. The Assassin's Creed community blows hard. I'm not going to go into specifics with this, but just imagine the shooter community times 30. And in terms of the actual games, I've already stated I love 2 and 4, think Brotherhood and Revelations are good, think that 1 Origins and 3 are okay, and dislike the rest of the games. So I'm not going to beat the dead horse anymore and just leave that there. And the final community I was a part of before I decided against communities was the Nintendo community, and similar to Pokemon, this community was great. Not as nice as the Pokemon community, but still delightful. Now in terms of the communities I was around and not actually a part of, that number is way larger. But even though I've been around a lot, I'm only going to cover one. The Apex Legends community. I'm going to start out with my biggest problem with the Apex community.
Apex Legends didn't copy anything from any other games and is the most original game ever crafted. The A stands for Apex.
No. Apex Legends is fine for a shooter. I had fun with it. But to say that the game didn't copy anything is just kinda silly. But I do understand why the community says this, because the Battle Royale genre is kinda known for being unoriginal, so they want to defend the game they love by saying it's original. But just because it's not the most original game ever doesn't mean you can't like it. Similar to Fortnite, this game is far from my kind of thing, but also similar to Fortnite, people don't give this game what it gets right enough credit because of how popular it is. People have even been attacking Breath of the Wild because of how popular it is.
The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is the worst game ever made because I'm a special snowflake that can't acknowledge that a game can be good and popular at the same time. The S stands for special.
Anyway, this community was also very angry. Like, anytime I died, all I heard was,
You mother! You deserve to die, mother! You piece of You deserve to burn, mother!
every single time. Now, I stopped playing Apex about a year ago, so I don't know if the community is still like this, but it still left a bad taste in my mouth.
Now everything that I've talked about has led up to this one statement. Really, the statement to change the world. The statement that will make all other statements look weak. I don't really like video game communities that much.
Am I a part of a video game community right now? Yeah, I am. I'm a part of the video game community. In my experience, individual communities are crazy loyal to the game or franchise the community is based around. So if you even said the name of another game or franchise you liked, you would get sacrificed. Kind of like Mario 3D World. If you're a part of any video game communities, I'll only half disregard you, but that doesn't mean they can't be fun. I had a blast with all these communities, but over half of them weren't too enjoyable. I used to think that if I wasn't loyal to one game or franchise, then I was one of the worst people ever. I didn't want that. I didn't want to be put on BuzzFeed's bad list. But now, I'm far more open to the idea of video game adultery, and I finally understand that you don't only have to like one game or franchise, but I can like as many as I want.
So that was a crash course on some video game communities. Overall, not too fun. So even though some video game communities can be, to put it lightly, dramatic, they still have a load of fun hidden underneath all that trauma, and they have their benefits. Like insurance.